Hello friends and welcome back. Before I even get started on the actual content of the vlog, I need to flag with you guys, and then we'll talk more at the end, that from the 11th to 15th of November and from the 19th to 25th of November, there are going to be massive deals worldwide for MyProtein. All across the globe, various different kinds of sales, all up to like 50% off. My affiliate link is in the description box below. We're going to cover that later, but I just want to say that up front. So now, what I'm actually going to vlog about today. Tonight I am heading to a birthday dinner with a group of friends. We're going over to one of my friends' houses. There's going to be a group of, I think, 20 of us or so, and we're all going to bring a dish, and it's called potluck. I don't know if it's called that anywhere else, but a potluck dinner. Everyone brings along a dish. It is semi-coordinated, so we don't all have bread, and I'm going to be bringing along a salad, and it's going to be a really good night. And I have got some spinach, some pine nuts, that's some roast pumpkin, and some feta, as well as just some balsamic glaze. So that's my salad that I'm bringing to contribute. But in all honesty, earlier this week, I had a couple of overeating episodes. I'm not going to call them a binge because for me, binges are like thousands of calories and it's very like out of control. Overeating, it was probably hundreds of calories still, but it didn't quite get to the same kind of point psychologically, and there wasn't like as much guilt associated, which is kind of how I tell the difference between an overeating like period, which happens to everyone, and a binge. So I had a couple of overeating episodes and I just started to feel more and more anxious about food, and I was considering not going to this potluck dinner tonight. I didn't want to put myself in a situation where I felt vulnerable like I was going to binge, and I just kind of had all these thoughts in my head. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be around all of this food, blah, blah, blah. But I am going to go tonight, and I'm going because I had a chat with my coach, Chrissy, and I had an appointment with my psychologist on Wednesday, and I'm in a much better headspace. So I thought that I would take this opportunity to share with you guys some strategies that I use to avoid binging in social scenarios like the one that I'm going to tonight. However, something that is also very important is understanding some strategies that you can use and having them in your mind, but then also kind of putting them to the side, not having them at the forefront, not having them ever present, and creating more food anxiety. So I'm not going to actually talk through the strategies with you guys now because I don't want to be thinking too much about it as I actually head into this environment. It wouldn't, I don't think, be too helpful for my headspace. I know what I need to do, so I'm just going to go and have a really good time with my friends and have those things in the back of my mind, and we'll see how I go, and then I'll share some of those strategies afterwards. I'm feeling confident, I'm feeling relaxed, I'm feeling calm, which is the most important thing. I'm feeling like I've got this. I'm not going to vlog a whole heap in front of my friends. I'll just show a few snippets and then we'll check in afterwards and chat strategies. Okay, so it's now just after 11 p.m. I'm home from my friend's birthday dinner. I'm feeling pretty tired, so I'm gonna have a shower and go straight to bed. Had a really good night tonight. Everything went very smoothly, but for now, I just want to shower, just get to bed, and we'll chat to you guys in the morning. Morning guys, happy Saturday. I had a great sleep and a good sleep in, and I was meant to be going to brunch with my friend. However, she has bailed on me. She's unwell, so totally understandable. So at the moment I'm trying to decide, am I going to go to brunch by myself and get some French toast? I have no shame in going to eat by myself. If I want some, I'm going to go get it. Or am I gonna stay home and like make an epic bowl of oats or pancakes or waffles or something like that? Still deciding. We'll check back in on that. So, time to chat. I'm feeling really, really good physically and mentally after last night, and I'm gonna chat through some tips with you guys. And firstly, just wanted to say, like, none of these tips are like massively groundbreaking or anything like that. There's no secrets that I'm gonna be revealing in this video. This is just about talking you guys through my mindset, how I try and avoid excessive overeating and binging. Again, this is not about like avoiding food altogether. It's just about avoiding eating to massive excess. I really encourage you guys to go out and eat in social scenarios and try not to avoid these social scenarios, because that's what this time of year is about. It's Thanksgiving in America, it's coming into summer in Australia, lots of barbecues, more occasions to get outdoors, and then obviously Christmas as well. And so we want to be able to feel comfortable to engage in those scenarios. And also, just to clarify, I am talking about like excessive overeating or binging here. And it's very important to say that overeating in general is part of life, and especially at like Thanksgiving and Christmas, you're probably gonna eat until you feel pretty stuffed. Enjoying food in social scenarios is a very healthy thing. I think the unhealthy part of it is when you have this anxiety that is attached to food that is either not wanting you to engage at all and not eat anything, or the anxiety is building up and you end up eating everything. It's more the anxiety around food that I've struggled in the past a lot and still occasionally struggle from, and that's what I want to be chatting about today. So I'm just going to be sharing some things today that I've talked through with my psychologist and my coach and that I know work for me. This is by no means like a comprehensive list. Some of these things might work for you, some of them won't, but this is just me sharing what works for me. I am not a psychologist, and if you do struggle, I would also suggest seeking professional help. Okay, I put that disclaimer out really, really early. Like, let's get cracking on this. Okay, so firstly, let's chat before the social occasion. Don't rock up ravenous. That's probably just common sense. If you rock up hungry to a social event, you're probably more likely to eat anything and everything in sight. So also drink a lot of water beforehand. Personally, I find that sometimes when I'm thirsty, I can kind of feel hungry instead. So drink something beforehand, especially if you're going to be consuming alcohol, and eat something beforehand. Whatever that happens to be can be up to you. Personally, before I went to my thing on last night, I had like a little protein pudding thing from MyProtein, which has fairly similar macros to like some Greek yogurt. So I wanted something that was like kind of filling and also had some protein in it. That was my personal choice. Secondly, if you are going to a social occasion where like everyone is bringing a dish, everyone's chipping in, try and bring something to contribute that is more nutrient dense. So rely on other people to take care of the calorie dense, the super tasty, the fatty, the sugary, the sweet. Let them take care of those options, and you bring along an option which is maybe a little bit more healthy, a salad or maybe like a fruit salad for dessert. And also that way, if you're feeling like a little bit overwhelmed by the options, you can just kind of resort to going for whatever you've brought as well, and you can fill your plate up with that. Okay, so now for like during the social function, make sure you keep like sipping on water, maybe like a sugar-free soft drink, something like that. Again, so you don't get too thirsty, and it does take up like a little bit of space in your stomach. So again, you don't feel the need to eat everything. And then it comes to food time, and you've got all the food laid out in front of you, and it all looks fucking delicious, right? This is the point where you have to decide what you want to eat. And the most important thing is you don't need to eat everything, okay? I know this is very hard to get in your brain when you are in the moment, but the food will be there in the future. This isn't your last meal. You don't need to try everything. So really just kind of pick and choose a few dishes that you're like, oh wow, this person put like so much effort like into this dish, like they've slaved away for hours or something, or oh wow, like I've never tried something like that before. I really want to give that a go. So as you would have seen last night, I filled up my plate with majority of like salad, and then I picked and choose what other things I wanted. So I had like a sausage roll and I had some lasagna, and they were kind of smaller portions on the plate. But I cannot stress enough, if something catches your eye in like the sea of food that is available and you're like, holy shit, I really fucking want that, and it happens to be like really calorie dense or really fatty or something like that, please serve yourself a portion. Please serve yourself a portion of whatever it is that you really want. Don't be like, oh wow, that looks fucking good, but it looks like it has a lot of calories. Trust me, if you don't serve yourself that, like, you will just keep thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, and it will drive insane. And maybe you won't even end up like binging on it, but maybe you'll end up like binging on something else because you didn't have the thing that you wanted. So if something really catches your eye, guys, please serve yourself a portion. Social occasion, we need to be able to enjoy these. Following on from that though, although I am saying like pick and choose the dishes that you really want, like I would also try and avoid, oh my god, the lighting is so annoying here at the moment, I'm sorry. I would also try and avoid making too many rules for yourself. So I wouldn't go in and be like, oh, I'm only gonna have like one piece of bread, or I'm only gonna eat salad or something like that. Because the more rules that you put on yourself, and I feel like the more anxiety also builds, and then when you're placed in the situation with food and there's other things that you want, you're like, oh no, but I want this, but I made this rule for myself, and it just kind of fuels that anxiety. So I would also try and be like a little bit flexible and have some kind of guidelines that you want to follow, but don't be too strict on yourself. Okay, so in terms of like after you've finished eating, which is also like a critical point for me, because sometimes after I finish my meal, if I get bingy, like it continues kind of thing. So after I've like finished my dessert, I like to go and get some tea. Like I'm always that person at my friend's house, I'm like, what tea do you have? And last night I like went into my friend's kitchen, I was looking fucking everywhere and I couldn't find her like jug to boil some water for some tea. So I ended up just leaving that. But I personally find tea like really like soothing and calming and like, okay, this is the end of the meal kind of thing. Another basic thing is moving the conversation away from the table because obviously there's possibly still like food sitting in front of you and it's just kind of good to get yourself out of that scenario. Another thing that I've also found just through like trial and error and understanding myself more is I actually need to like avoid cleaning up. Something that really kind of is triggering for me is food wastage. I hate food wastage. I've always been taught like, finish everything on your plate, stuff like that. But often that's to my detriment. And I've found that sometimes when I help clean up, I see the food that's like getting put in the bin or going to waste and I'm like eating it like off plates, like before it goes in the bin and stuff like that. I'm not saying this is off other people's plates, but like off the original serving bowls kind of thing. So it's pretty mindless really. And something that my psychologist says is a good way to think about it is either way that food is gonna go to waste. It's either gonna end up in the bin or you're gonna eat it, it's gonna go through your body and then you're gonna poop it out and it's gonna end up in the sewage system. So either way, whether you put it in the bin or you put it in your body and you poop it out, it's going to waste. So, I don't know, maybe that analogy also works for some of you guys. Something I've also struggled with in the past is I'll do really well at the social occasion, everything will go smoothly, and then I'll come home and then I'll binge once I come home. It's like I've been on like red alert like the whole social time, and then I get home and I'm like tired and I've let my guard down and then I end up binging. It's just like, fucking why? This is why I'm also trying to go into social occasions being more self-assured and confident, so I'm not like keeping that anxiety like at bay the whole social occasion. I get home and I just clean my teeth and go to bed. Something that might also help you guys is planning something for the next day. Obviously brunch with my friend fell through, but I've decided I'm gonna make myself an epic pancake stack instead. And so maybe having something planned for like after the event that you can kind of reward yourself with afterwards. It doesn't need to be necessarily a food reward, but for me it was just because I know how gross I physically feel after a binge, and I was like, look, if I don't physically feel sick, I'm gonna enjoy this brunch like so much more. Okay, so I think I want to wrap it up there for today. Of course, just like another disclaimer, like I'm not a psychologist, and if you are consistently struggling with overeating, binging, anxiety around food and social scenarios, then I would really recommend that you go and seek help from your GP, and then further from that from a psychologist, preferably one that can help a lot with anxiety or has experience with food disordered eating, that kind of thing. So any kind of questions or comments that you have, if you found this video useful, if you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate if you left a comment below and also gave me a thumbs up. And now to cover what I referenced at the start of the video, because I've just gotten an email overnight from MyProtein HQ. They've said that my code MWIZMyP is going to have between either a 40 or 51% discount between the 11th and 26th of November. So it's going to vary whether it's 40% off or 50% off, but either way, that's like a massive deal. As always, I'd really appreciate if you use the link that's in the description box below. It is an affiliate link. I do receive a small commission from it, and I really appreciate if you guys do purchase through that link. And if you're new to MyProtein, or if you haven't purchased from them before, like, this is the time, guys. Like, the next 2 weeks, the biggest sale essentially of the year. If you're gonna try it at any point, like, it's now, so you can get a massive saving. I'm gonna put my top 10 recommended products in the description box below. Feel free to like DM me on Instagram or comment or anything, and I can give further recommendations. But yeah, next 2 weeks, epic MyProtein deals. Seriously, get on it, guys. But I think that is all from me for this video. I am going to go and train now. I'm 4 weeks out from my next powerlifting competition, and I'm going to come back and make myself a massive batch of pancakes and have a really good weekend. But thanks so much for joining me again, guys. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.